All right, so in your marketplace right now, in your industry, what are the most profitable areas to compete in? What are the areas that have the most amount of competition? And what are the areas that actually are wide open? We call them gaps in the marketplace, which provides an opportunity with very little or no competition for you to profit from. What exactly are those areas in your business? Those are just some of the things that we're going to be talking about in this video right here. So if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, read the caption below to find out how you can be a part of our exclusive business training membership club, and get ready to succeed after the intro. Okay, so far in this series, what we've done is we have identified 10 to 20 top competitors, indirect, direct, as well as substitutes. Then what we did is we understand that consumers buy on perception. So we identified what are the two most important features for each segment. That is the criteria of what is going to make them to buy. It could be price, could be quality, could be some specific feature. It could be accessibility, durability, reliability. Each industry is different. Next, what we did is we took all of our competitors, we took these two most important attributes, two most important features, and we assigned a perception number. So in the eyes of the target audience for each competitor, in each one of these attributes, what is the level of importance, or what is the level of value in the eyes of the consumer? And then finally, we mapped it out and we came up with a positioning map, which is what you see right here. Okay, what do we do with it? I'm sure a lot of you have actually learned what a positioning map is in school in the past. I've learned about it in a number of my classes, but I never really learned what does it do and how do you evaluate it? And what do you do from here? Like, how exactly does this help your business? I did it, check. Okay, do I just move on? No, we need some type of an analysis that we can do from here. So what exactly is it? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. So first of all, it's really important to understand what is a positioning map and when do you use it and how is it beneficial, all right? So a positioning map can actually do a number of things for you. Number one, it helps you identify where the high competitive areas are in your marketplace and in your industry. Gaps in the marketplace, areas that are wide open, the most profitable areas to compete in, and more importantly, the overall diagnosis is how are you going to position your brand amongst the competition in the eyes of the consumer, right? Again, it's all about perception. So how can you position your brand to be in the best possible perception in the eyes of your consumer so you can succeed as you move forward? That's what we're trying to do, all right? So what we're going to do is let's go back to this positioning map. But notice what I've done, right? I want you to take a look at this. You notice McDonald's, Burger King, Chick-fil-A. You see how close they are together? And we almost put a circle around them, all right? So just a refresher, this axis right here is price. So this is the lowest price items and lowest priced brands right here. The highest priced brands are on this side. And this is health level. So the most unhealthy brands are down here, and the most healthy brands are right here at this level right here, right? So this is what we got going on. So you can see right here in this bottom left-hand corner, we have McDonald's, Burger King, Chick-fil-A. There's going to be many other fast food restaurants in this area right here, but those are the three that we identified, right? Now you go up just a tad bit more, and you have Subway, Chick-fil-A, Panera, and they're pretty close together, so they kind of are interacted over here. We have this local salad company. It's a local salad bar, and they have nothing but fresh homemade ingredients. On this side of the price monitor, actually, health, price and healthy, actually, you have your local restaurant that makes everything from scratch. Notice this corner right here. Average price, average health for the most part, right? You got Applebee's, Chili's, Fridays, and then, of course, you have your steakhouse right here, right? So these are some interesting clumps that we see. It's really interesting when you start to do this perception map and this positioning map, how you'll start to see a number of competitors actually clump together like this. So what exactly does it mean? Well, each one of these circles, each one of these clumps of competitors, we call those a category. This is a very important term for you to remember. This is a very important business term, a category. So what exactly is a category? A category is a group of competitors. They're all competing for very similar segments with similar products at a similar price point, okay? So in a category, you're going to have similar segments that they're going after with similar products and similar price points. And when we're looking at the map, that's exactly what you see right here, right? So McDonald's, Burger King, Chick-fil-A. Obviously, there's a little bit of difference, but for the most part, similar. You know, McDonald's, Burger King has burgers, Chick-fil-A has chicken, but still it's fast food, over-the-counter, quick service. They satisfy the same type of crowd, all right? Subway, Chipotle, Panera, again, little different products, but for the most part, quick counter service. They're trying to portray that they are the more healthier counter service option. All right, Applebee's, Chili's, Fridays, they're more casual, and you can see how they're lumped in together right here. Now, here's what is very interesting about this map is because not only do we get to see where the different categories are, but it also helps us to understand who our direct and indirect competitors are. So all the competitors in our same category, right? So all the competitors in the same circle, that's what we call direct competitors. These are all direct competitors. Now, you can see this. We got a little overlap here. We have a little overlap here, a little overlap here. And then you can also see close competitors who are in the same vicinity of a category. Even though they're completely different categories, this is what we call indirect competitors. So a lot of the indirect competitors that you listed, you'll see they're listed. This is how exactly they would map out. There's either a slight oversection in the categories, or you can see they're pretty close together, right? Now, Burger King and McDonald's, are they a competitor of the steakhouse? No, not really, right? Obviously, situational, could be different, but for the most part, they're not competitors. Could they be a competitor with the local salad joint? Possibly, on occasion, depending on maybe its convenience or frequency or physicality where someone is going. That could always determine it, right? But you would see these groups, these two categories right here are probably closer together. These categories are probably closer together. These categories, so on and so forth, right? What's also interesting is you can also see the market tiers. So this right here, right? So if this is price, this group right here, right? These three categories right here, that's probably one market tier. That's probably more the economy, right? Salad's probably on the verge. This group right here is probably the mainstream tier. And then obviously the steakhouse is your premium tier, right? So this is really fascinating because now I can see who my direct competitors are, who is in the same circle. They're in my category. I can see who my indirect competitors are because those are the categories close to me. And I can also clearly see who my market tiers are, all right? So already this map is extremely beneficial for me. It's doing a lot of good things, all right? So what do we do now? What steps are we going to take? And what is our goal? What's the task? So the first task is what we need to do is we need to identify where are the high competition areas, all right? So based on our competition, our competitive landscape, our competitive positioning, and the perception of our target audience, remember, that's where these values came from, right? What are the high competitive areas? So I can look at this right here. Now, I know I have McDonald's, Burger King, Chick-fil-A, but realistically, we have a lot of different companies that are in this realm, right? We have Hardee's, Carl Jr.'s, In-N-Out, Jack in the Box. This is a very, very saturated space. There are a lot of competitors in this category right here. Quick, cheap, over-the-counter, definitely not the healthiest, but they'll get you by, right? This is also a busy category, but it's not as busy. So this right here would be the Subway, the Chipotle's, the Panera Breads. Obviously there are a couple of companies in this area. Not as much as this group down here, but still you get a decent amount here. Look at this salad bar. And again, I know this is going to be different in different areas, but this local salad company, they're pretty much the only one in their category as this map shows. Same thing with local scratch. This steakhouse will have a number of different competitors in here in a realistic situation, right? And obviously, look at this right here. You have Applebee's, Chili's, Fridays. Obviously, you have a lot of other different on the border could also be put in here. There's a lot of different companies that fit into that scape, right? So what you want to do is you want to identify where are the most competitive landscapes. And here, this is important for you as a small business owner. Because if you're competing in an area that is saturated, what does that mean? A lot of advertising dollars, fierce competitive environment, and you really got to get your game on. You know, as a small business, you might want to avoid those different categories if possible in the beginning, right? But at least it shows you where the high competitive areas are. That's very valuable for you. Next, this is the one I really love, is try to identify where the gaps in the marketplace are. Where are there gaps in the marketplace? Okay, where is there areas in the marketplace where there currently is very low competition? Right, so let's look at the map again. Notice the map is a little bit different. Okay, I have a big blue circle here. I have a blue circle here, here, and here. This is what we mean when we say a gap in the marketplace. There are no companies, there are no brands in these blue circles. It's a gap. No one is competing in those spaces, right? So when we're talking about price and health, no one is in those spaces. Now, there's a couple of reasons why. So number one, let's look at this space right here, top left. So this right here would be the healthiest option at the lowest price. Man, if you are able to figure that out, to get a very healthy option food at the lowest price, McDonald's style pricing, but truly wholesome, healthy food, you're going to make $1 million, right? You're going to make a landmine if you're able to figure that out. This is extremely difficult. But now look at this section. Unhealthy food for steakhouse pricing. Obviously, no one really wants that, right? So you have one sector that's highly desirable for the consumer, but very difficult to execute on the business side. And normally that's why that is empty. Then you have this side, which this would be extremely easy to do. You know, McDonald's could easily charge $50 for one of the hamburgers, but who's going to buy it, right? So very easy on the business. It's unrealistic the consumer's actually going to buy it, right? So that's what you get right there. So most of the time you can weed this out, unless if you're like a Walmart and you can actually figure this space out, you'd be really successful. But look at these spaces right here, right? This space right on the line as far as price, but high health. And then you got this open space right here that might be just a tad bit healthier than the Chili's in the Applebee's and the Fridays. A little bit more expensive, but not expensive as the local steakhouse, right? So these right here are your money pits if you're able to find a solution that could actually fit those different areas at the price point and the health level, right? So what you want to do is, again, I have price and health. Your position map is going to look completely different. What are your two important attributes, right? And what you want to find out is, where are the high competitive areas and where are the gaps in the marketplace, right? So that's it. That was a quick video. It's important to identify those first, because what we're going to do in the next video is the main question that we got to ask ourselves is, okay, now we understand the competitive landscape. We've done all of that. And now that we've identified what categories have the most competition, in what categories have the least competition, and where are the gaps in the marketplace. Now the main question is, what is most profitable for you? Do you want to enter a high competitive category? Is that your best option? That is a daunting option, especially if you're a new business. I just got to tell you right now, that is going to cost you a lot of money. You're going to need a lot of resources, and you got to make sure you have something that works, all right? Most small businesses, I'll recommend stay away from the high competitive areas at first. You can go into them afterwards, after you gain and establish yourself. But at first, those are very challenging. So you want to ask yourself, what categories can you get into that have a low amount of competition, or do you have something special enough where you can actually create a new category? Create a new category in one of these gaps in the marketplace. All right, so those are some of the things that we're going to go over in the next video. All right, Bible verse of the day, Numbers 13. See what the land is like. See if the people who live in it are strong or weak, and if they are very few or many. Find out if the land they live in is good or bad. Now, some of you might be saying, hey, you just used that verse a couple of videos ago. I did. And I'm reusing it again. You know why? Because this verse is absolutely perfect for what we're talking about. In a biblical sense, you had the Jewish people who just left Egypt, and they're about to go into the promised land. They are arriving at it, and before they walk in, they wanted to scope out what's the competition like? What is the scenery like? It's exactly what we're doing right now. Before you go forward in your business strategy, in your plan of attack, let's scope out the land field. What is the positioning of your consumers? What is the positioning of your competitors? You're going to notice I often say consumers and competitors and overlap them. You're going to be with me a little bit. Dyslexia is kicking in at times. But what is the landscape of your competitors? What is most important to the consumers? What are the high competitive areas? What are the low competitive areas? Where are the gaps in the marketplace? And in the next video, like I said, we're going to pick up as far as how do you now evaluate what the best area in the marketplace is for you to compete in. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed it.